What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
Not in this lifetime, Sonny.
All right. What is it? Tuesday night? Must be the Tuesday night Radio Baloney Live. I'm your host, Richie Baloney. How's everybody doing? Good to see you guys. Dramus, Turtles, how you guys doing? Good to see you. All right. So everybody knows that we're streaming on Rumble, YouTube, X, and Locals. And everybody knows that when you get the first like, you get extra good karma. So you get good karma every time you like, obviously. Everybody knows that. But you get extra. It could be double, triple, 3 times, 4 times. Could be quintuple good karma when you get the first like. I'm guessing that Dramus got the first one. So let's say that is triple good karma tonight. Good for you. All right. Energy night, Dramus says. Energy night. Not so fast. All right, let's get to the menu. Let's take a look at what we're going to be talking about tonight. Then we'll go back to the chat, and then we'll get into the stories in detail. We're going to take a look at what's happening with the cleanup and the cleanup of crime in D.C. And here's a testimonial from somebody who actually lives there, and is explaining how life is different now. Mark Carney, we're going to be talking about Mark Carney. He's over in Europe again. There's some, actually, it could possibly be positive news. We'll have to find out. I'm not going to hold my breath, but we'll see. We're going to take a look at that. UK, we're going to take a look at, and with a bit more of this. She's been arrested, the Scottish girl, who has to apparently carry around like an axe with her, a hatchet with her, because it's so unsafe there now because of the mass immigration. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Canadian immigration. We're going to, Pierre is also talking about this here. We're going to go to Woke Canada. And here you've got, hold on one second. I got to do something here. All right. Hold on. All right. Actually, hold on. So this is like one of those, like, part of the boomers crusade who just sits around watching like CBC or CNN or MSNBC and just has become totally deranged. It's weird, like they're reverting back to their like teenage selves, like teenage college protester selves. It's very strange. Amy Hamm has posted something, just a bit more insight into the just bizarre persecution of this Canadian nurse. We will take a look at that. Ben and Jerry's must dismantle white supremacy. They got that on the windows. How do they make money? Why does anybody shop there? A couple of memes, not many. The Last Stab, we got a bunch of stuff here, bunch of stuff all mixed in, and we'll take a look at that as well. This is what we look at the end of the stream. Not as many animal videos as normal, but there are some in there, so we shall get to those. We have some palate cleansers in there. All right, and I wanted to talk about two, and we're going to get to this. Maybe we'll start out with it, actually. Hold on. Because there's some stuff I've been seeing, some stuff that was sent to me about Venezuela, and the U.S. has sent some ships offshore there, and I thought we would get into that as well, and just my thoughts on it. All right, so Macross, good to see ya. Crime in D.C. says, what crime? Well, what crime now, right? Macross says, called old-timers. Well, old-timers that sit around watching CBC and CNN and MSNBC, or I guess in the UK, maybe BBC, and have become totally deranged. It's a weird phenomenon. Really weird phenomenon. But I guess we'll just get straight to it. The chat is quiet so far. Unusually quiet, actually. So let's just get straight into the stories. Maybe we'll get into this. How about this? So Venezuela builds up border security in response to deployment of U.S. warships. That's Monday, August 25th. So Venezuela on Monday announced the deployment of 15,000 troops to the Colombia border to fight drug trafficking amid accusations from Washington that Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro is heading a cocaine trafficking cartel. The 3 warships have been deployed to Venezuela's coast to set up pressure on Maduro. So let's go into this a little bit more. So here we go. So this was sent to me, and I thought I'd give you my thoughts on this. It says, so the U.S. sends 3 warships and 4,000 Marines near the Venezuela coast as part of efforts to curb drug trafficking. Drug trafficking. Well, and that's in quotes. So that's supposed to mean that that's kind of a ridiculous thing. Why would they care about drug trafficking from Venezuela? Well, Trump's been very, very vocal about drug trafficking, right? From Mexico, from anywhere. Canada as well, right? He's put an enormous amount of pressure on Canada regarding fentanyl. So it's something he takes very, very seriously. So that seems like a totally legitimate, that he'd be putting pressure on them over drug trafficking, because he's just doing that everywhere, even to Canada. Not that he's sending a bunch of troops, but I mean, they're all just right there anyway, right? There's just a border right there, right? We've got a border. Let's see what is really happening in Venezuela. So before we start, actually, okay, we'll just get straight into it. So let's see what's going on. So oil reserves here. They do have oil. BlackRock and private equity firm housing. Oh, hold on a second. Sorry. That's not it. I forgot to click on it. All right. So Israel and the U.S. simply may want a regime change under the guise of drug trafficking. Well, we know the U.S. does want a regime change. Venezuela's Maria Corina Machado. If we win, we'll move the Venezuelan embassy to Jerusalem to support Israel. So she was blocked from running in the last election by Maduro, and then was replaced by a man called Gonzalez. And let's just get into this, actually. Okay, Maduro, he's been running Venezuela since 2013, same party as Hugo Chavez, who was running it since 1999. So it's been a quarter of a century with the same party in power, which usually doesn't speak well for the, democratic process of place when you've got quarter of a century with the same people running things. This is from The Guardian. So it does not get any more left-wing, socialist-friendly than The Guardian. Evidence shows Venezuela's election was stolen, but will Maduro budge? Again, when you have the same people running things for a quarter of a century, it usually raises some eyebrows, because typically people aren't that patient or that loyal. Analyses indicate Nicolas Maduro lost the presidential election, but country's leader shows no signs of stepping aside. Analyses carried out by the opposition, academics, and media organizations have offered strong evidence to suggest that the Venezuelan president lost by a landslide to the main opposition candidate, retired diplomat Edmundo Gonzalez. And again, this woman had been the candidate, but she was blocked from running by Maduro, so somebody else had to run. Analyses carried out by the opposition. Analyses carried out by the opposition, academics, and media organizations have offered strong evidence to suggest that the Venezuelan president lost by a landslide to the main opposition candidate, retired diplomat Edmundo Gonzalez. Okay, yeah, we read that. The list ranges from. Oh, hold on. From the start, so now we're talking about the last election in Venezuela. From the start, the electoral process was plagued by irregularities, according to the Venezuelan NGO Transparencia Electoral. The list ranges from blocking candidates from running, such as the opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, who was then replaced by Gonzalez, to making it virtually impossible for millions of Venezuelans living abroad to vote. Dozens of opposition members were arrested during the campaign, and international observers were either blocked or disinvited from monitoring the vote. On election day, some voters found that polling stations had been moved without warning, sometimes to neighboring states, while in historically Chavista neighborhoods, there were reports of polling stations being kept open long after the official closing time. After years of economic decline and an unprecedented humanitarian crisis that has spurred about 8 million Venezuelans to leave the country, opinion polls indicated a strong lead for Gonzalez. And when have you ever heard of socialists being totally corrupt and authoritarian before? It must be the first time. So, the U.S. put a $50 million bounty on Venezuelan President Maduro. I don't know if that's true. Well, I think I actually did. Hold on. Let's do a fact check. Screw it. Let's do a fact check.
Fact check.
Hold on. The U.S. government put a $50 million bounty on. All right, let's take a look. Yes, so in fact, yes, they have done that. Okay. Yes, so that is true. Good news. We checked. Good thing we checked it out. All right, the U.S. put a $50 million bounty on Venezuelan President Maduro. The U.S. denies his presidency and blames him for the drug epidemic in America. This person's saying that's laughable. Is it? Is it really? Maduro talks about Palestine below. Before we get to that, U.S. denies his presidency and blames him for the drug epidemic in America. They're saying that's laughable. Well, I don't think he just blames Maduro, but he says he's part of the problem. What's this? Insight crime, cartel of the Suns. Cartel of the Suns is the term used to describe drug trafficking cells embedded within the Venezuelan military. Despite the name, it is not a hierarchical group. Hold on. Despite the name, it is not a hierarchical group, but rather a network of networks within the main branches of the military, the Army, Navy, Air Force, and National Guard, from the lowest to the highest levels. This is sounding just a lot like other countries like Mexico, for instance. They that are frequently protected by, coordinate with, or in some cases are even directed by political actors. So is there corruption within the Venezuelan government and being a part of the drug trade? Yeah, I mean, every other country down there is the same, right? So I don't find that particularly hard to believe or fantastical. He is definitely a big fan of Gaza and Hamas. He's definitely a big fan of Hamas, and he does not like Israel at all. He's really mad at Israel. He doesn't like it. And of course, he is allied with, Iran, other enemies of Israel. So, yes, he's aligned with all of the United States enemies, actually, and Israel, and the enemies of Israel as well, which are, the same thing, essentially. Same as it would really be for the U.S. and U.K. An alleged letter from rival Maria, an alleged letter from rival Maria Corina Machado to Benjamin Netanyahu asking for assistance in regime change back in 2018. So an alleged letter. So we can just ignore that. Alleged. The Venezuelan government estimates that it sits on 50 tons of unexploited uranium ore in the Roraima Basin, which mostly sits in Venezuela. Okay, so Donald Trump speaks about Venezuela and oil. Okay, he likes the oil. Let's take a look.
Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door.
El expresidente de los Estados Unidos, Donald Trump.
Yes, he would have liked to have been able to get Venezuelan oil. There's nothing shockingly different from any other administration. Let's see. So remember, it's all about the drug trafficking. Top Venezuelan opposition figure asks Jewish expats to return. Maria Corina Machado thanks Netanyahu for recognizing Juan Guaido as interim president. Says she hopes many who are forced to leave will now come back to rebuild nation January 19th. So, oh, there's also gold in Venezuela as well. I don't know what is so I guess the assumption here is that, so what is the point of all this? I guess what this is suggesting is that the United States is about to invade Venezuela, which I just don't see that. Like, obviously not. Trump isn't that guy. He's not that president. He doesn't like war. He doesn't want it. Yes, he will drop bombs sometimes when he feels that he absolutely has to, but Trump is not going to invade another country. U.S. sends 3 warships and 4,000 Marines near Venezuela coast as part of efforts to curb. So what is the suggestion here? That the U.S. is going to invade Venezuela? I don't know. And I guess just Israel is thrown into anything now. Just anything that you want to be against, just throw Israel in there. It's all Israel doing it. Israel is a client state of the United States. Yes, there is a close relationship, a longstanding relationship. Yes, there is a powerful lobby, but Israel does not control the United States. Right? Israel is in a geopolitically important place in the world. And if it weren't, the U.S. would have zero interest in it. Okay, does Saudi Arabia control the U.S.? Or, I mean, they've got bases everywhere, right? The United States. What, does Germany control the United States? U.S. has interests all over the world, right? So, but it seems to just be a thing that if you don't like something and you want to start something up, you just throw Israel in now. Well, it's Israel. Well, I don't know. I mean, you've got an alleged letter. That's part of what's it's built on. Venezuela's Maria Machado. If we win, we will move the Venezuelan embassy to Jerusalem to support Israel. Okay, so I don't know what's the context in this. Like, so what? I don't. What else? So does that mean that what does that mean? Does that mean that Israel, for some reason, has a major interest in overthrowing the Venezuelan government? I don't know. None of this is really making a lot of sense to me. There's just a lot of jumps here. I don't really know what it means. You see so much of this where it's just a bunch of stuff thrown out and then, alleged stuff. And at the end of it, you just go, what does this actually mean? Like, are they saying that Israel, it's really important to Israel to overthrow the government of Venezuela? And because the United States is a vassal state of Israel, it seems like there's a lot of stuff that's just made up. And then you come to the end of it, and you go, what is this? So anyway, that's my thoughts on it. I don't know. It's somebody who seems to, I think, like Maduro. I don't know. Anyway, what are you guys saying? Let's get back to here before we get into it. All right, let's get to the chat now. Looks like we've got a bit of chat happening. Let's see. Rosie, how you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. McCross says, and it's being reported that Cracker Barrel isn't going to white hate and remove the old white man from their logo signs. Well, they've lost a bunch of stock value, haven't they? So they decided to reverse course before any more damage could be done, I guess. Rosie says, I read that Venezuelans' elections were the first that Dominion practiced their stealing and switching votes. Well, that's very interesting. Maybe something to look into at some point for us on this channel. Let's see. Rosie says the election before the last was stolen outright. This last election was so rigged, as you're pointing out, that Venezuelans stayed home and did not vote. The numbers are still true that Maduro lost. Well, again, anytime you see it's the same party and it's 26 years, it's a quarter of a century. Typically, even if things are good in a democracy and with fair elections, people will just want to change anyway. So, I find it right away. You go, okay, it seems a bit odd. Rosie says the published numbers are all made up and inflated. Let's see. McCross says it wouldn't even be a war. Yeah, I don't think 4 boats and 4,000 soldiers is going to do the trick. Let's see. McCross says we could take Venezuela quicker than Canada. No. I don't know. Depends how many drones they have. Drone warfare has changed everything. That's now the great equalizer is the drones. That has changed the face of war. Let's see. Rosie says, no idea why the embassy comment is important. Yeah, I know. Rosie says, Venezuela is a tie back to Cuba and Russia, or has been. Yes. Absolutely. No one sane likes Maduro. Well, socialists like him. They'll defend him till the end of time. Let's see. Chef Rico, how you doing? Let's see. All right. Well, I'm glad we got that out of the way. So let's go to so woman explains. So there's a lot of freakouts on the left about Trump basically forcing rule of law in DC, right? Trump hasn't changed any laws. He hasn't changed any laws. He's just enforcing the laws that already exist. That's not authoritarianism, right? Authoritarianism is just arbitrary application of the law. Trump says he's not a dictator, defends DC, National Guard. U.S. cities, well, let's click on this one. You're CNN. As Trump administration unleashes federal show of force in D.C., other U.S. cities in president's radar push back from being safe and less crime-ridden. Hello, they ask any of the people living in these places? Woman explains the profound cleanup at Union Station in D.C., particularly the underpass bridge where people would throw their waste, and there was always trash. Paul A. Cispula. I don't know how you say it. It's probably something like that. Let's take a look.
So President Trump has not even had control over Washington, D.C. for 30 days. And I have on my For You page video after video showing D.C., specifically Union Station, and how clean and safe it is. People don't understand how big of a deal it is, specifically for Union Station, because there is a bridge, whether it's the bypass, it's either 95, 395, or 495, where the homeless, as well as people who are abusing drugs, as well as the drug dealers, they just squat. It's clean. It's all gone. This was also an underpass bridge where people would throw their waste. So you would drive on the main road, and to the left and right of you is nothing but trash. It's all clean. People don't understand how big of a deal this is, because the Capitol is right there within like a 6 or 7 minute walk. And then also local residents, they did not like walking there, whether in the daytime or the evening. Some people would take taxis just to avoid any type of encounters. And people have been talking about cleaning this up for a decade. And you mean to tell me President Trump hasn't even had control for 30 days and he cleaned it all up? So President Trump has not even.
So this is why you see the hysterics and the moral panic over rule of law, just applying rule of law, not authoritarianism, not just arbitrarily applying the law, actually just enforcing the laws as they exist, not changing them, just enforcing the laws that already exist. This is why they're freaking out, because people go, wait a second, I don't have to live like that? Like, I don't have to live like I was living before? Don't have to be scared all the time or just grossed out every time I leave the house? I don't have to do that. This is what's terrifying for them, right? Because leftist policies cannot achieve what she's describing. They can't. They're designed to cause what she's describing, because what she's describing is equity, not equality. No. That's what they're getting now, like equality under the law. What she's describing what it used to be like, what it was like before Trump decided to clean up the city. That was equity. That's leftist. That's progressive, right? That's the radical progressive stuff. It's designed to create that, and it can do nothing else. So yeah, this is why they freak out so badly. They have to say he's a tyrant and blah blah blah, because and some people will still believe that. Some people will still believe that, and they won't like the fact that their lives have actually gotten better just because of mind virus, just because of an idea pathogen. A lot of people will say, actually, this is pretty good. I mean, we didn't have to live like we were before. Maybe we should change our voting patterns. Maybe we should vote for more of this. It's quite terrifying to them. All right. Let's get back to the chat for a second, and then we will keep going. Let's see. Princess Baloney is getting back tonight. I'm not sure exactly what time, but I might have to cut off the stream fairly early. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it does. Rosie says, that woman on the beach looks healthy and well-fed. Guess she has no money left to buy clothing. That's it. She spends all her money on healthy food, stay fit, and but nothing left over for clothes, unfortunately. So I don't know. What are you going to do? Spambot says, ugh, it's only Tuesday and I've already worked 31 hours already? And it's Tuesday? What do you work, like 150 hours a week? Yikes. But it is Tuesday, isn't it? It is Tuesday, and we know what day Tuesday is. Does anybody know what day Tuesday is? It's a very special day for the channel. Let's see. I'll see if anybody mentions it in the chat. Hold on. Hold on. Cross says, Richie, check out the video. Which video? It's a palate cleanser? Okay. Well, in a second. Hold on. Chef Rigo says, you mean enforcing the laws like the southern border? Well, I mean, my understanding is that needs a bipartisan bill. Turns out all you had to do was enforce the law. Isn't that crazy? Let's see. McCross says Taco Tuesday. It's not Taco Tuesday. It is not. Let me see if I can find the link. Hold on. So sticky, guys, making me play clips. Let's see. Copy link address. All right, let's just do it. Just goddamn do it. We'll do it live. Hold on. So what the heck is this? This better not be an AI video. I hate that AI slop. All right, let's take a look. It's fun to stay at the okay, this AI is okay. I don't like the ones where it's like supposed to be real, but everything is uncanny valley. This is all right. Okay, let's that's pretty good actually. Kind of amazes me though that any like marketing department would just mess with anything classic at this point. Anything like Americana. We saw what Jaguar did, messing with their kind of classic brand. It amazes me at this point any company would do that. It makes no sense. Are they not paying attention? People are not in the mood for that. All right. Mickey, how you doing? All right. Let's see. 31 hours is too much, Rosie says to Spambot. It is. That's a lot. I salute you, sir. Let's see. That was a palate cleanser, Macross. It was. That was a good one. All right. But I am feeling a little bit, I have to say, I'm feeling a little bit low energy. A little bit. Because it's Tuesday, there's something we can do about that. Because it's Tuesday, after long negotiations with the chat, with the channel members, we agreed. We finally came to a compromise where we could do something about our low energy on Tuesdays. Oh, I just burped. Excuse me. On Tuesdays, and if we have a stream on Thursdays as well. So what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about when we get low on energy, and I'm low on energy right now. I mean, I had a coffee, nothing. A couple of double espressos, nothing. I smoked some crack, nothing. I had that blue meth from Breaking Bad, nothing. I chewed on like 4 polar bear adrenaline glands, nothing. Start to wonder if there's even anything that can be done about this.
They them energy. They them energy. They them energy. They them energy.
And teapot. Actually, I think it's been a couple of weeks since we've seen the they them energy, but now I feel better. Anyway, now I feel better. We got that out of the way. Beautiful. Maybe we'll do it one more time tonight. It's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday special night. Let's see. Rosie says Cracker Barrel logo change was a psyop, in my opinion, like New Coke. Rosie, it's starting to sound like everything is a psyop. That's what it's starting to sound like you're saying here. Let's see. Oh, we got to do chocolate. I forgot about that. All right. So anytime we do, all right, here we go. I forgot. It's been so long since we did a they them energy. I forgot that every time we do that, part of the negotiations on the channel were that if we're going to play that, we had to compromise by playing a chocolate for Rosie. Chocolate. But we say it chocolate. Chocolate. That's how we do it. That's how we do it on Radio Baloney. So what's that? This guy's making something out of chocolate. Whoa. Oh, I can't play music. What the heck is he doing? There we go. What is going on? It's some sort of machine. So it's a giant wheel made out of chocolate? And what do you do with that? Well, it looks delicious. But no, now it doesn't. Don't spray paint it. What the hell? No, I'm not satisfied with that one. That's just this. There we go. Oh, yeah. Look at that. A chocolate Darth Vader head. Nice. See, that's quality right there. This is some good quality chocolate. All right. Now we've dispensed with that. All right. Back to the chat, then back to the news. All right. Spambot says I worked 17 hours yesterday, 14 today. How you doing it? You need to, like, you're gonna ruin your health, my friend. But you do what you got to do. Canada ain't cheap these days. Let's see. Spambot says, thank you for the warning. Spambot was part of the negotiations regarding they, them energy. Some people find it hilarious like I do, and some people don't like it, and I understand that as well. That's why we negotiated. Let's see. Turtle says, natural resources and the people are starving. You're talking about Venezuela. At one point, they were eating the zoo animals. Let's see. Rosie says, everything is a psyop. Just because you are paranoid does not mean you are not being followed or they are not really after you. Well, that's true. That's true. I mean, if they're really after you, you're not paranoid. Oh, there we go. Did you guys see the chocolate or did I have it covered the whole time? I think I had it covered the whole time. Okay. God damn it. What is wrong with me? All right. Hold on. Let's go back. All right. We'll make this quick. Look at that. Darth Vader chocolate head. That is quality right there. Nice. Chocolate brains for Darth Vader. Fantastic stuff. Okay. There we go. Turtle says paranoia will destroy you. Are you listening? Are you listening, Rosie? Rosie says, no, you must replay the chocolate. There's only one moment. Plays on the screen. I just did. Replay the chocolate in a video. We did it. Okay, figured it out. All right, there we go. Let's move on with the news. Enough of this frivolity. So, German reporter asks Carney what Canada can actually provide to Germany in terms of energy, given its lack of pipelines and an adequate East Coast port. Well, we had this news come in today. Prime Minister backs plans to redevelop northern Manitoba's port of Churchill. So, this is a way to get natural gas, LNG, to Europe. A list of upcoming federal government projects could include new port infrastructure at Churchill, Manitoba, Prime Minister Mark Carney said Tuesday. Carney is talking about $500 billion on infrastructure projects. I don't know where that money is going to come from, and I'm highly dubious that any projects are actually going to get done in the first place, especially considering that he's, already stated that nothing's going to be done without 100% unanimity from the 8 billion different Indian bands across Canada, which that's not going to happen fast. So he says they're going to be formally announcing some projects and some investments, as he calls them, in the next couple of weeks. We'll just have to see. Some of the examples in the public domain will include reinforcing and building on the Port of Montreal, a new port effectively in Churchill, Manitoba, which would open up enormous LNG, liquefied natural gas, plus other opportunities and other East Coast ports for those critical metals and minerals. Now, of course, you need pipelines, though, or otherwise it's pointless, right? The Port of Churchill, which is one of Canada's northernmost deep water ports and has a brief operational window each summer, is owned and operated by Arctic Gateway Group, a partnership of dozens of First Nations Hudson Bay communities. It's the only deep water port with Arctic Ocean access in North America that's also accessible by rail. So these are promising words, but will anything ever actually be delivered is the problem. I mean, the pipeline that's now delivering natural gas to Asia from the coast of British Columbia, got its first approval in 2015. And that was after several years of, studies and environmental studies and all of that. Again, this is a liberal government, so I'm not going to hold my breath on any of this. Let's take a look here. So this is a German reporter asked Carney what Canada can actually provide to Germany in terms of energy, given its lack of pipelines and an adequate East Coast port. Well, this is the other issue. So for Port of Churchill, it would require, about a 1,300 kilometer pipeline. And again, that's going to be going through about 75 trillion different small Indian bands who have been assured by Carney they're all going to have to give their okay for it. So I almost wonder if it's not just a distraction, because he's already kind of set it up so that nothing can ever happen. But let's take a look.
Prime Minister, just one question about raw materials. Could you please explore a bit more what Canada can realistically actually offer to Germany and Europe, given the fact that ports on the East Coast and also pipelines are still lacking?
Okay. You're welcome to take the second part of my question if you wish. Thanks for the question. Look, there's a huge range of immediate opportunities with respect to critical metals and minerals, and there are medium-term opportunities with respect to all forms of energy, including LNG and hydrogen. And I'll quickly explain how we make those happen. Our government is in the process of unleashing $500 billion of investment in energy infrastructure, port infrastructure, particularly intelligence infrastructure as well, with AI. And a number of those investments, the first of which we will be formally announcing in the next 2 weeks, are with respect to new port infrastructure. And some of the examples in the public domain will include from reinforcing and building on the Port of Montreal, Contrecoeur, a new port effectively in Churchill, Manitoba, which would open up enormous LNG plus other opportunities, and other East Coast ports for those critical metals and minerals. So there is a lot happening. It's the number one focus of this government is to build that infrastructure, and particularly infrastructure that helps us deepen our partnership with our.
Yeah, again, when is there any? I mean, part of the problem with the Liberals is that being the Liberal Party makes it almost impossible for them to actually get anything done, at least in any kind of timely manner. I mean, right now, based on track record from Liberals, I wouldn't expect anything done earlier than 10 years from now, right? So I guess we'll just have to see. Maybe it's just a distraction. Must watch from CBC Watcher. Here's Christian Luprecht. Christian Luprecht, senior fellow at the Macdonald-Laurier Institute, calls it like it is on Carney's commitments. So that's not the one that I want. Hold on. That is not the one that I want. Okay, hold on. I think it's here. Here we go. From CBC Watcher. So German ambassador to Canada, Matthias Lutenberg. Let's hear what he has to say talking on this issue.
Justin Trudeau said there was no business case to sell liquefied natural gas to Europe. We are hearing a very different message from Prime Minister Carney today. He said there's amazing potential opportunities if we open a new port in Churchill, Manitoba. We know that Germany is buying millions of tons of LNG from the United States and Qatar, not Canada, as a result of really inaction by past governments on developing LNG. Would Germany be a customer for our liquefied natural gas if we did get our act together, if you will, and start producing some of this and sending it over to Europe?
Well, ultimately, that's certainly up to the companies in Germany, the buyers, to decide if they want to purchase LNG from Canada. But I would see a huge potential for a business case, at least. And I see and I hear from the conversation that we are having with German companies that they do care about LNG. And we as the government.
Keep in mind, too, that they're getting it from the U.S. now, who built, I think, half a dozen export ports for LNG. So you have to always keep in mind what's happening with the United States as well, because they exert an enormous amount of pressure. They have an enormous amount of power and leverage, which Canada doesn't have. Now, we are late to the boat on this because of Trudeau. But let's continue.
Government certainly want to pave the way for any sort of imports, because as we said in the beginning, the diversification, especially in LNG imports, is of relevance to us as well. We have done our homework. We're working on the relevant import infrastructure and our ports. So we're getting ready for everything, especially also with a view to hydrogen on the longer run. But LNG imports we are doing already, so we are there. And I hope that Canada would also fulfill this step. And what I heard today in the press conference of the Prime Minister with the Chancellor in Berlin was very encouraging in this regard.
Yeah, they also talked about critical minerals. There seems to be some sort of deal struck today. We don't really have a lot of details as to what exactly the two countries have agreed to do. Can you kind of shed some light on that for me, for our audience? What have they agreed to do on critical minerals? Is there some sort of timelines for the projects that are under discussion?
Well, I would describe the document which was signed today by Ministers Hodgson and Reiche, the German Minister of Economy, as a framework document which would help us as a joint declaration of intent, help us to promote the exports of critical minerals and to jointly seek for diversification of our routes, but also to work jointly on research, for example, to work jointly on all sorts of critical minerals related activities. And it's not yet with a timeline, and it's still not very concrete in terms of single projects which we wanted to undertake, but it opens the door, and we do have some support schemes both in Germany and in Canada, like a raw materials fund in Germany, which we will use for the benefit of our cooperation and critical.
So it sounds like a lot of maybes, doesn't it? Like, let's hear this one more time.
Have they agreed to do on critical minerals? Is there some sort of timelines for the projects that are under discussion?
Well, I would describe the document which was signed today by Ministers Hodgson and Reich, the German Minister of Economy, as a framework document which would help us as a joint declaration of intent, help us to promote.
So, declaration of intent, it sounds like a lot of maybes. So, we will just have to see. We will just have to see. I'm not overly optimistic, I have to say. All right. But they do need LNG. They're getting it from the States. And obviously, they're never going to be able to reinvade Poland without that LNG. So they've got to get it. Let's move on. What do we got next? I don't think we actually need this one. No, we've already seen all of that. Okay, what about in here? Oh, yeah, okay. So this is Witold Zielski, Poland's ambassador to Canada, says the quiet part out loud. Canadian natural gas goes to the U.S. at a massive discount and then gets flipped to Poland at a much higher price. Yeah, this is because of Trudeau. What an embarrassment. He can't even help but chuckle at us. Yeah, that's because of Trudeau saying that there was no business case for selling it to Europe. Crazy. Totally crazy. All right. Let's move on. Let's get to the UK. First, let's go back to the chat for a second. What is going on here? Turtle says, save Canada. Eventually. We're going to have to save ourselves. Eventually. Let's see. Okay, you guys are just talking about something not to do with this. All right. Well, look at this. What a wonderful thing. What a wonderful thing just happened. So Rosie just gifted a membership to Mickey. What a wonderful thing. Hold on one second. So obviously, by this beautiful, selfless act from Rosie, by gifting a membership, a channel membership to Mickey, clearly the best person who's ever lived. Whoever you admire from history or even idolize from history, all dog shit compared to Rosie. Clearly the best person in the world. And I will tell you right now, it's the best thing anybody can do for my channel. It's a wonderful thing. It's probably nature's greatest miracle. One more time. Thank you, Rosie. Better than every single person who's ever lived. And all for less than the price of a brand new Tesla, a Cybertruck. So, I mean, come on. Let's see. Mickey's appearance in chat should, yes, it will highlight now. Because just like it does for all very important people in these streams. Chef Rico, big question. How is Canada reacting to Carney offering up Canadians young in the front lines of Ukraine? Well, I think, to be clear, I don't think he was offering up to go and fight in the front lines right now. I think he was talking more as part of a security thing after, but it's totally stupid. It's never going to happen. That is not. There are not going to be any European or foreign troops in anywhere in Ukraine or what remains of Ukraine after the war, and it's just him trying to puff up his chest. And he was deeply embarrassed by not being invited down to Washington with the other European leaders to meet with Zelensky. So this was just him trying to save face with some empty words, just idiotic. And although maybe he is that stupid, I don't know. But no, not popular. That's not even going to be popular with his own voters. I mean, sure, liberal commentators who are constantly, they're armchair generals, and seem to be thrilled at the prospect of fighting to the last Ukrainian. Yes, some of those will like it, but it's just that's not striking the right chord with even the people that voted for him. Let's see. All right, let's move on. Let's go to the UK. So we've all seen this. I don't need to play the video. The young girl defending herself with an axe and knife against a migrant was just arrested. You heard that right. She was arrested. Europe has fallen. She was arrested. So this is the state of the UK now, after they have imported in countless just military-aged foreign men who've already been through 18 different safe countries, but wanted to get to the UK because it had the best benefits. They get the most goodies there. And of course, they are from very different cultures, and they have no respect, and they don't seem to even appreciate the hospitality they've been given, and they have no respect for Western culture, certainly not Western women. And this is the situation where you have two-tiered policing. The government is just actively working against and persecuting just the indigenous English and British, right? The indigenous people of Scotland, just actively telling them that they are not important. The important ones are the people who just got off the boat 3 seconds ago. So this is the state of things. And of course, what can they do other than arrest her? Well, they're not going to arrest the migrant, obviously. He's the good guy. To them, that's who they prefer. Let's take a look. From a Daily Record, teen girl charged after reportedly seen with bladed weapon on Scott Street. This was published yesterday. Teenage girl is being charged by police after allegedly being caught brandishing a bladed weapon in the middle of the street. Perhaps the police should be asking, gee, why does the teenage girl have to carry around bladed weapons with her? Like, aren't we supposed to be protecting her so she doesn't have to do that? Of course not. Police Scotland said the youngster was dealt with in Dundee at the weekend. So there you go. This is leftism, right? This is progressivism. This is equity. Equity, not equality. They're not interested in that. This is equity, right? Equity is that she gets arrested and nothing happens to the guy who just showed up, who should never have been there in the first place, and who's being creepy and filming her and other young girls. Right? And there are assaults all the time. They're getting like a new one from these migrant hotels that they have there where they're putting them up. They're getting assaults like every day. They've been getting them every day for like a couple of weeks. And the people have had enough. But what is that girl fighting against? Because ultimately, the migrants have to be allowed to be there. Like, somebody has to be allowing them to stay there. Somebody has to be creating an environment where they're incentivized to go there and to harass 12-year-old Scottish girls or 14-year-old Scottish girls, right? Let's take a look at this.
Right. That you
Hold on.
work.
Well, so being simplistic and wanting our borders secure makes me far right.
I want
wanting
our
unknown men to go home and not be around our women and children is far right, is it, Bill?
The way that you advocate for it, yes.
Passionately. Like the people watching this show now, I want safety for our women and children. That does not make me far right.
That you represent the groundswell of the popular public.
Well, hang on.
What an
Bill.
arrogant thing to say. You represent about a third of the electorate in the body of reform.
So this is the guy here who defends 14-year-old Scottish girls having to carry blades to defend themselves from people who should not be in the country. This is the guy. This is who she's really fighting against. This guy.
Supporters.
Right, so
that's where you stand.
If you say that, that's about 10 million people. probably.
Yeah, and
so we're all far right.
I'm talking about you, Adam, and the views that you express.
I'm still, Bill, I'm still, with respect, I'm still waiting for one particular example, something he said which you think is far right. You said overall his stance on immigration is far right, but that's not good enough.
He plays fast and loose with statistics around immigration.
See, the truth is, and we know this in Canada, we know it's also known in the United States as well, is that far right is just not left. So if you are not a socialist, if you're not a radical progressive, you're far right. It's just anything that dissents from their progressive agenda, from their globalist agenda. That's far right. So normal is far right. So they demonize anybody who just can accurately describe reality as far right.
No disrespect, I've schooled you completely on 3 or 4 of these shows.
The viewers are arrogance. You're the personification of arrogance.
Right. Okay. So, do you believe you represent more people in the UK than me with your views?
Do you know?
Yes or no?
Yes, I think I do.
Hilarious.
Right. Hilarious.
Labour aren't doing very well in the polls.
Is it? So add up the political support in opinion polls for the Labour Party, the Liberal Democrats, and the Greens, and it's over half the population.
You are so naive and so in your bubble that you think, honestly...
No, you're in your bubble, mate.
Oh, my God.
Okay, Chloe, what's your thoughts?
Politics.
Has this guy said one thing? One thing? Has he managed to back up his case in any way? No. No, it's all just ad hominem attacks. It's just nothing, right? This is a guy who... Does he have young kids? I doubt it very much. Does he have young daughters? I doubt it very much. This is I'm very likely somebody with no skin in the game who just wants to keep his position and says the things that he knows will allow him to keep his position. Hopefully, that won't be the case forever.
It's not for you anymore. You're a dinosaur. You're a dinosaur in a political world, Bill. A dinosaur.
Represents just a less than
absolute dinosaur. Get in the real world, like me and Chloe.
I live in the real world.
All I'm going to say is there used to be a time when it was completely normal and mainstream to think a country should have a border.
Exactly. And I love my flag.
That doesn't make you far right, and that's most.
I believe in.
See, that's it. Thinking you should have a border is now far right. It's just anything normal is far right to these people. It's amazing. And you can see he's just struggling to come up with something, anything solid, any kind of solid point, but he doesn't, because it's just what feels progressive or what feels like somebody like himself might say is far right or mean or something. That's it. That's all they've got. It's pathetic. This is so, what is this guy, the anti-Churchill? I think this guy is the anti-Churchill. What a grotesque figure. Let's see. Creepy migrant approaches preteen British girls, girls pull weapons to defend themselves. Cops arrest the little girl. Look at this. Government considers banning England fag. Government considers banning England flag from being displayed in public. Yeah, this is how pathetic it is. I mean, you see them on the panels on their news there, talking about how the England flag, I said it again, the England flag, the St. George's Cross is scary for people. It's scary and intimidating. In fact, I think I've got somebody in here saying just that. Let's see. All right. I think it's because when I was watching this. Oh, let's go back. I think it's because when I was watching this. Hold on. I was thinking, that guy just looks like a big fat fag. Right. There she is. So this is she's being memed all over the place now with stuff like this, right? It's become something. Something is happening where they've had enough. This has now become a symbol. She's now become a symbol. Here, let's take a look at this. This is the sort of thing they are absolutely sick of. Let's take a look.
Breaking alert, shocking leaks are spreading fast across the UK tonight. Hotel staff have secretly taken photos of the buffets being served daily to asylum seekers, and what they reveal has left the public furious. According to these images, trays are filled with hot meals, fresh fruit and desserts delivered every day under government contracts. While many British families struggle to pay rising food bills and school children line up for basic lunches, migrants are seen enjoying what many describe as restaurant-style service. One whistleblower, a staff member who requested anonymity, said, "The public has no idea. Every day, these buffets are set up, no questions asked. The costs are enormous, and taxpayers are footing the bill." The leaks have ignited a storm of outrage online. Some call it a humanitarian duty, while others see it as a scandalous misuse of public money at a time when the nation faces inflation, food insecurity, and cuts to social programs. Officials have yet to comment on the photos, but pressure is building. Activists are demanding transparency on exactly how much is being spent and why the public wasn't told. This is more than food on a table. It's a symbol of division, secrecy, and a system that many say is about to explode. Share before it disappears.
Yeah, I think the people there have a right to ask why this is being forced on them. These people have no right to be in the UK. And it's like 98% just military-age men, right? If they're fleeing from war, well, they just left their mothers, their sisters, their wives, their daughters there? Maybe they should fight in their own war. Maybe they should do that. Of course, that they're not, actually. And it turns out that it's been discovered that many of the people that have fled as refugees to the UK and other places, actually also Sweden as well, I've heard stories, they fly back to the places they fled from, quote unquote, fled from. And after they've gotten all their money and their benefits and everything, they actually go home on vacations. If you ask me, that should just be automatic. You're out. You're out. You lied. You lied when you came here. You have to go now. We don't need you. We don't need to have to pay for you for the rest of your life. You and your children, your many children, because you have obviously no intention of ever being productive, which is what happens. Very, very high unemployment rates long term. All right. Let's get back here for a second. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? Let's get to a different one here. What else we got? Let's do some golf. Let's see. JJ, how you doing? Good to see you. All right. Was thinking start time was 7:30. 7:30 is Fridays. Fridays, Nevada. Fridays. But good to see you here. We still got a ways. We're only an hour in. We still got a while. Let's see. Fabulous. Las Vegas. All right. I hear it's quite empty in Las Vegas, and I see like insane prices at the hotels as being a reason why. Let's see. I've been to Vegas in a long, long time. Macross says, all I can say is thank our forefathers for having the foresight to open the Second Amendment. Yes. That's been a plus. Let's see. Bad Uncle Frank says, how you doing, Bad Uncle Frank? Until good men rise up and put fear into the lives of these tyrants, the shit will continue everywhere. Well, there, you have the St. George Cross movement going across England where they're just putting it up and they're painting it everywhere. It's very symbolic. It's peaceful, but it's really freaking out the people in control. Unfortunately, I mean, they still don't have anybody to be their champion, really. Even Nigel Farage, it's clear he's not really going to do anything reform gets in. All right. All right, let's move on. What do we got next? So we did that. So this is interesting. Jason Kenney, he was the premier of Alberta. Says in 2010, I brought in sweeping reforms to Canada's asylum system, which won all party support. Even the Toronto Star endorsed the changes, and Toronto Star is just an absolute liberal stalwart, just a propaganda rag, essentially. Jason Kenney is a conservative. The core statutory reforms were in the Balanced Refugee Reform Act. As a result of these legal, policy, and operational changes, including judicious use of visa impositions on countries that were large sources of false claims, example Mexico, we managed to get total new claims down to a record low of 10,000 by 2013. So what happened to this, you wonder? What happened? Hold on. I think you know what happened, right? I think you know what happened. So let me get to the part. Hold on. But then the Trudeau government. So when a sentence starts, but then the Trudeau government, when anytime anything starts, but then the Trudeau government, whatever follows is going to be bad. But then the Trudeau government systematically reversed those reforms, apparently driven by a toxic combination of naive virtue signaling, I'd say that's spot on, and administrative incompetence, also spot on. None of this will be fixed under Carney, unfortunately. We're going to continue having these problems. And, well, let's take a look. Hold on. Just refresh this quickly. Oh, here's Toronto, by the way. I don't know if these are newcomers or not. Would not be very surprising to me. But this is the sort of thing that just happens in Canada now. Just openly. Just openly. Doesn't look like they're even really in a hurry. Just grabbing everything. There we go. That's Toronto for you now. Let's see. How about this? Fed up Canadian starts fighting newcomers who were robbing an LCBO liquor store in Ontario.
Let
it go. Let him go, sir. Let him go. Let it go. Let him go. Let him go, sir. Let him go, sir. Back off. Sir, let it go. Let it.
Yet this is what happens when people just get fed up. When you have a leftist government, a progressive government, that is not concerned. So that is not certainly not concerned with rule of law at all. I mean, in Canada, I get we are. It does seem the laws are pretty much just arbitrarily applied. This is what happens when you have a mass immigration that you can't handle. People can't assimilate. Also, too, it becomes clear to newcomers that they can pretty much do what they want and nothing's going to happen. You know, if they end up getting arrested and going to court, the judge is going to, lessen that whatever it is, whatever their charges are, so that they won't be deported, right? Immigration is not going well in Canada. Let's see. These are the 14 communities taking part in the Rural Community Immigration Pilot, RCIP. It's a federal immigration pilot program to increase immigration into rural Canada so that in rural Canada, they can just keep paying minimum wage forever, never have to, raise salaries or wages, hourly wages, because they'll just bring in all these people. Again, the foreign temporary workers are to suppress wages. That's why every corporation is constantly whining about how they need more. Because if they don't have them, they'll have to pay more because there'll be competition, right? There'll be competition in the labor market. They'll have to compete for workers, which means they'll have to pay more. That's why they love it. That's why they're constantly saying, oh, we can't get anybody. It's because they don't want to pay more. They want the cheap labor. It's just to keep everybody on minimum wage forever. That's the point, right? You see all of this. And this is, look, I do road trips around British Columbia, and it's every small town. Here's 14, but it's every small town. It's just everywhere now. And again, the purpose is to just keep everybody on minimum wage forever, to just keep wages low. That's it. Well, what does Pierre Poilievre say here? A Canada First immigration and refugee system should only invite the right people in the right numbers so our jobs, healthcare, and housing can catch up. Instead, the Liberals' radical open borders policies broke Canada's immigration system and made all these problems worse, which isn't fair to anyone. Now, he's saying that Mark Carney promised to fix it, but these results shown he's worse. This is what I've been saying for a long time, that Carney was going to be worse than Trudeau. He supports the same out-of-control liberal immigration policies that delivered a triple-header crisis in housing, healthcare, and youth unemployment. These breaking numbers blow through the government's own targets midway through the year, with some on course to be the highest on record. So, temporary foreign workers, promise cap 82,000. Supposed to be a cap for the year, 82,000. Issued 105,000 so far. International Mobility Program, promise cap 285,000. Admitted 302,000 in the first 6 months. So we have something. Hold on. Where is it? We do have something. And it is here. Okay. 2025 temporary foreign worker target 82,000. Temporary foreign workers issued 105,000 in the first 6 months. And that doesn't include all the ones that are already here, right? So it's hundreds of thousands. Getting, is it a million that are just still here, that are past ones that have come and have refused to leave? Prime Minister Carney is depriving a generation of young people wages and jobs. He promised change. Instead, he is worse. Only Conservatives will put Canada workers first. And he's going to have to prove it. He's going to have to prove it. You know, when and if he gets elected, he's going to have to prove that to us. Talk is not going to be enough. Go back here again. All right, I think that's actually it. All right. Mark Nixon. Step 1, come to Canada. Step 2, loot the LCBO. Step 3, Liberals call it diversity. This is the lawless clown show Liberals built. Are you sick of it? How about this? Another example here. Just filling up bags, just huge bags. Like, word's gotten out. Canadian government, weak. Canadian government is weak. Just take what you want.
Hey guys, you're on live TV, eh? You're on live TV.
They don't care. They know nothing's going to happen to them. This is it. This is all that richness of diversity that's been brought to Canada. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. Look at this, Kirk Lubomov. I'm so sick of Canadian businesses complaining they can't find workers while our unemployment is growing and youth unemployment is at multi-decades high. Hire and train people. That's what all businesses have done forever. If your business depends on cheap foreign workers and you'd rather hire them instead of your neighbors, then F you, and no one should care if you shut down. Buying Canadian apparently doesn't mean hire Canadians. So much for the fake patriotism. Kamloops, BC, home to the highest unemployment rate in Canada. This Ontario resort can't find enough employees. Businesses say cuts to Canada's temporary foreign worker program are to blame. Yeah, well, for one thing, it doesn't appear it hasn't been cut anyway, right? They just want more cheap labor to suppress the wages even more, apparently. All right. And what are people saying in the comments? Hold on, let's go back for a second. Let's just see. Send them all home and shut the program down. Any other option is not a serious option right now. I don't know. That just seems to make sense. Here's this Bromsley here saying, how many would you and the cons deport? Give us a number. Well, I think it should be, almost all. I mean, I'm open to there being some that for some reason that we do actually need, like maybe nurses, qualified nurses or doctors, something like that. But the vast majority, we don't need hundreds of thousands more Uber drivers or hundreds of thousands of more people to work at McDonald's, other fast food places. We just don't need that. Not when you have, 20% youth unemployment. All right. Look at this dingbat. Leviathan, a senile for Sinwar. That's pretty good. Senile for Sinwar, wearing a keffiyeh, goes to a Costco in Canada and tells her followers to boycott Zavita coffee, despite being a Canadian company. Will you be doing the same? This is a part of this bizarre new boomers crusade that we're seeing, which is, it's not all boomers, obviously, but that segment of the population that is glued to CBC or CNN. A lot of Canadian leftists watch CNN and MSNBC. So it's a weird phenomenon. And you see all these radical leftists, boomers. It's just weird. Like, I'm sure, like, a few years ago, 10 years ago, she was baking cookies or something, right? She wasn't worried about, was it Israeli flour or something? Right? Now we get this, and I find it totally bizarre. Is it a way to just relive their rebellious youth? I don't know.
Well, this is Zavida Coffee, which is an Israeli company, and it's very interesting because it says it's a product of Canada.
Oh, she's got her keffiyeh on. It's an Israeli company. Those mean Zionists. Those mean Zionists. Is this really something that a grandmother should be concerned with? I don't know.
But we don't grow coffee in Canada, and so this is definitely not a product of Canada. Perhaps packed in Canada, but we have to be very, very careful when we're shopping because this is a misrepresentation.
Okay, but you said we don't grow coffee in Canada, so where are we supposed to get our damn coffee from? You crazy old dingbat? Where exactly? Well, it's really because it's made by Zionists. It's not good for society. I mean, to have your, I understand young people being brainwashed and indoctrinated and, being like fake rebels and stuff, but old ladies, it's just getting weird.
Of something, in the sense that it really is not Canadian grown coffee. So watch out for those kinds of misinformation packaging.
Oh, shut up. Go home and watch Coronation Street. Although probably Coronation Street is probably on an anti-Zionist arc right now as well. So who knows? Stop deranging our seniors, please. Please stop. It's not healthy, and it's weird. And there's something very creepy about it, and very invasion of the body snatchers about it. Well, hold on a second, people. Wait a second. Something beautiful has just happened. Maybe the most beautiful thing in the universe has just happened. Turtles has just done a $5 Rumble rant for the channel. You know what that means, people. Wow. So obviously, what can I say? Best person ever. So again, you go through history, all the great people. I don't know who you admire. Maybe it's Helen Keller. Guess what? She's garbage, human garbage compared. Maybe it's Mother Teresa. Human garbage compared to Turtles. Turtles is clearly, bar none, best ever human who's ever lived. And do I even need to? I don't know. There's nothing more I can say. Here we go. And all for less than the cost of a LNG port, export port at Port of Churchill in northern Manitoba. I mean, that's a deal right there. That's a deal. And it's an important message too. Save the children from evil worldwide. 400,000 child brides, and possibly a lot more. And some of them are in Canada now because of our diversity and the fact that our government wants to ignore the diversity that it is embarrassing to it. Crazy. Anyway, thank you, Turtles. That's awesome. I appreciate it very much. And it's never a mistake to appeal to my greed. Never a mistake. Also, thanks to, and so that we got Turtles, we got Rosie. They are clearly the two best people in the world right now. Let's see what happens on the rest of the stream. All right, let's go to the chat. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? Let's see. Let's go back a bit. I'm trying to back up to where we stopped. Okay, so I remember you guys talking about feeding your dogs in the chat because you guys are never talking about what's happening, what I'm talking about. Let's see. Nevada says, we just got done shucking corn and cooking it, and I cut up a watermelon. See? I don't know why anybody even watches the show. Let's see. Let's see. Rosie says, I get it. Chef Rico, I get it now. Yes. Next to a best person ever from Richie, even your mom can be in doubt. I'm not even getting into that. Let's see. Nevada says, call me Carney. Call me Carney. Some people call him Mark's Carnage Carney. Some people call him that too. Call me Carney will just make it worse. That's my expectation. He was also talking about, East Coast LNG ports as well, export ports, and that's not going to happen because Quebec has said no, and he needs that Quebec vote. That's not going to happen. Maybe we'll see something at that Port of Churchill. Maybe. Let's see. Rosie says, who is filming these jewelry thieves? The security guards? Probably. It was not security camera footage. It was probably just people in the mall. Let's see. Let's see. All right, I'm just going to skip to the end of the chat here because we got to keep moving. Trudeau Survivor says, I started drinking Jewish coffee like the deranged lady was complaining about. Now I understand the joke about two Gentile businessmen meeting and asking, how's business? That was from, Well, that was that Norm clip that we watched, right? Two Gentile, so non-Jewish businessmen meet, and one asks, how's business? The other one says, great. That's the whole joke. That's funny. Let's see. All right, let's move on. Let's keep going. Maybe I'll do an ad read quickly. Maybe I'll do an ad read. Let's see. NFL tune-in preseason. Please stick directly to the script. It tells me I'm going to stick directly to the script, but I'm going to put a lot of energy into it because it's a beautiful product, people. Are you ready? Set your clocks, mark your calendars, and buckle up for the best NFL primetime football action. Starting September 4th on Westwood One, you can catch all the bone-crushing hits, last-second heroics, and edge-of-your-seat action that NFL Thursday, Sunday, and Monday nights have to offer. Whether you're tailgating, driving, or chilling at home, don't miss a single snap. Listen on the NFL app, the Westwood One Sports app, at westwoodonesports.com, or just say, Alexa, open Westwood One Sports. If it's the NFL, it's on Westwood One. That was a beautiful, beautiful ad read right there. Beautiful ad read. I kept to the script, just like they told me to. Didn't inject anything in there, anything inappropriate in there. Beautiful ad read. I think everybody was very happy with that. Very happy with that. All right. Rosie says, we watched the show, Richie, because we are done shucking corn and cutting watermelon. But we must celebrate our wins. 31 hours of work, feeding the dog, shucking corn, etc. It's a great place to hang out and just shoot the shit. Let's be honest. I've come to terms with the fact that that's all that I am now. That's all that I mean. And it's fine. I'm good with it. Let's see. Chefrigo says, Westwood One Sports, use the app. All right, let's move on. What are we doing next? What kind of crazy? Hold on one second, actually. All right, sorry. Where the hell are we going now? So we did this. We did that crazy old dingbat. The crazy old Jew-hating dingbat. Oh, this isn't... What happened to Canada? Like, not that long ago, she just would have been making, like, I don't know, streusel or something. There'd be a lovely streusel smell coming out of the kitchen. Now she's worried about the Jews. Now she's worried about Jewish coffee. Now she has to make videos on social media and tell people, don't buy this. It's made by Jews. Like, what the hell is going on? How did Canada turn into this? Old ladies, these like old lady anti-Zionists. Like, what the hell? Shut up, old lady. Shut up and just do normal old lady stuff. Take that damn tablecloth off. Just do normal old lady stuff again. Make some prune cookies or something that the grandkids don't like. Maybe she doesn't have grandkids. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe she spent her whole life in her dream job as a real estate agent, and she just never had time. Never had time. I don't know. Anyway, shut up, old lady, though. Shut up. Shut up, Kami. Kami gets nothing. I shouldn't be saying that to some old lady. She should be obsessing over her cats or something. I don't know. Just do old lady stuff. This is in Toronto. Warren Kinsella. This is in Toronto. Sometimes the world is so evil, it is beyond words. Yes, our word is resistance. Free Palestine by any means necessary. Really? I look at it and I almost think this is like an op or something, but no, I've listened to these people. I've listened to them. No, this is fully in line with their evil ideology. Right? All the feminists out there who got their keffiyehs on, if they see this, they will just turn away. They'll just erase it from their mind immediately. because there's no profit in it. There's no profit in questioning any of the stuff that the CBC teleprompters tells them to do. Here is this Sean Foyt. So he's been coming to Canada for like 20 years, do his concerts, and the media decided this time to raise a moral panic over a Christian singer who's a conservative and likes Trump coming to Canada. And, pushing these ridiculous narratives about, they had to cancel it. Will people be safe? Will people be safe if he comes and sings his songs? Just so absurd. Let's take a look. He's saying that Canada's changed, and I agree with him 1,000%.
I think the landscape of the country is different. I mean, nothing that we're doing is different. So I think you got the election, you got the tariff issue, you got this anti-American, anti-Christian sentiment that's really strong. And I kind of, if there's circles, I'm like in the middle of all those. I'm an American, I'm Christian, I'm conservative. And it just goes to show you that the media and the government is hell-bent on their biases. So they're not interested in the 20-year history that I have coming.
Yeah, 20 years. And also, lots of millions of Canadians are Christians, right? In fact, including a lot of people that are coming to Canada are Christians. That are coming from Latin America, they're very likely to be Catholics, right? But he says the landscape's changed, and it has. And it really, it's been changing for a long time. There's always been bias in the media, but it was Justin Trudeau was really the inflection point when he took over the Liberal Party and announced that they were actually a progressive party. Well, it turns out a radical progressive leftist party. He changed the Liberal Party. It's no longer liberal, right? It's now an illiberal party, an authoritarian leftist party, and it continues to be so under Mark Carney. And of course, the government-funded CBC was thrilled by this turn of events, these developments, and has gone along with it as well. It's completely thrown away its original mission, what it's supposed to be doing, which is represent all Canadians. Immediately threw that away, joined in with Trudeau, and decided that from now on, our job is to shape opinion. It's to mislead. It's to manipulate for political purposes, for our desired political purposes, and to make sure that we keep getting that Liberal Party to keep getting funding. Increasing funding, sure, but not just that. They're also totally the people running the CBC, and not everybody working at it, but a lot of them have been indoctrinated. They have been infected by the idea pathogen, by the woke mind virus, right? So it's also personal to them as well. And this is not unique to Canada, right? You saw it with the American press, post-Trump. A very big shift. Not that there wasn't bias, there was, but then it just became open, right? Just open partisanship. You've seen the same thing with the BBC in the UK. Not that there was never bias, that there was, but you saw, again, an inflection point there where all of a sudden just any kind of real pretense to being objective just thrown out the window. Sure, they say, oh, yes, we're objective, but then they go ahead and prove that they're not. Over and over and over again. So yes, Canada has changed, sadly. This is what people like me are mad about. Like, we don't like the new authoritarian leftist Canada. It's not the country we grew up in. At a time when this guy could just come down and it was no big deal. He could have a crowd at his show, and it was the fact that there were no terrorist flags being waved, or nobody was screaming death to Canada, death to Israel, death to the United States. That was seen as a good thing back then, right? It would have been kind of shocking. Before Justin Trudeau, it would have been shocking for people to be running around screaming death to Canada, death to Israel. Not anymore. Now he's the threat, though. Now, I wonder, at his concerts, if they were screaming that, right, and they were all wearing keffiyehs, it would be no problem. If he were screaming death to Canada as a visitor to Canada, no problem for the media. They wouldn't report on it. They have no interest whatsoever. Death to Israel, no interest whatsoever. Oh, that's fine. No problem. Not good. Not good, people. Let's see. We already covered that. So I wanted to show you this. So on the continuing story of Amy Hamm, the nurse who was being persecuted by the Nurses College in British Columbia and put through a long tribunal over just simply believing in biological reality. She is appealing the decision from the tribunal, which has punished her and decided that she's responsible for the funds that were used, the legal funds that were used to persecute her. So she has to pay almost $100,000 for her own persecution, but she's still not staying quiet. And you really have to admire it, don't you? The panel of women who found me guilty did so on the basis of things like this below. We will read this in a second. Gender cultists and the CBC, etc., happily condemn my alleged discriminatory comments. Well, let's take a look. So what does this say? This article is an introspective piece that explains the respondents' personal views of what it means to be a woman. So an article that Amy Hamm wrote. The clear message conveyed in the article is that there is no ability for a person to become a woman if one is not born as a female. Now, this should be where everything just stops, because that's just an accurate description of reality. But of course, in the madhouse that is Canada, it's not going to stop there. The respondent asserts there is no absconding from female bodies. She denies the possibility that an individual born as a male can feel like a woman, or indeed that such a feeling can exist, as, in her words, there is no incantation or initiation that can transcend our bodily reality. So Amy Hamm said that there is essentially no magic spell that can have you transcend your bodily reality. So, accurate description of reality, right? The panel finds the statement that, quote, there is no absconding from female bodies, the claim that the feeling of being a woman does not exist, and there is no incantation or initiation that can transcend bodily reality without a female body, are discriminatory to transgender women because they deny the possibility that individuals born into male bodies can feel and identify as women. It's just, it's insanity. This is precisely the type of erasure of transgender women which Dr. Bauer identified. The biographical footer at the end of the article identifies the respondent as a nurse educator. So, saying that there's no incantation, there's no magic spell that can transcend biological reality, or that there is no ability for a person to become a woman if one is not born as a female, this is a crime to them. This is discrimination. So just obvious, accurate descriptions of reality. So this whole thing was a struggle session, like everything they put her through, which has been years now. Just one long struggle session, just purely ideologically based. And it is shocking how much power this ideology has. And when I say that it's taken over every institution, it has. This is BC Nurses College, colleges of nurses and midwives. It has. Well, everybody was asleep. They got to the top. And by the way, once they take over, it doesn't matter what the people underneath think, because they don't have the power. The people who have the power will do what they have done to Amy Hamm. I mean, she is a warning. She's, they've used her as an example to those nurses that don't agree with them, who don't agree that it's discrimination to say that you can't, a man cannot actually become a woman, or that there are, no magic spells that can transcend bodily reality or biological reality. Gender cultists, and that's what this is, right? None of this is based in reality. Everything, like their condemnation here in this denouncement here is just pure fantasy, built in a fantasy world. Gender cultists and the CBC, etc., happily condemn my alleged discriminatory comments, which are only discriminatory in the minds of said cultists. Biology isn't hateful, and neither is accurate descriptions of reality ever. It is never hateful, it just is. This country. All right. Well, here's in the States. So Jonathan Kay, I guess, took a vacation down to Vermont. Ben and Jerry's in downtown Burlington. On their window, we must dismantle white supremacy. They also hate Israel. And how do they make money? Like, how do they still make money? Do they only exist in like the most bluest parts of the bluest cities? Because you'd think having that on your window, even for like, non-white people, you just go, oh, come on, we're sick of this. It's just gross at this point. Just stop. This is just divisive. It's insane. I mean, this is a corporation, a big ice cream corporation. We're concerned about dismantling white supremacy. It's just weird. I mean, how are they not bankrupt? How is this company not gone bankrupt? Please, can they please go bankrupt soon? Please. Man, I mean, like, they're the worst of the woke corporations, and they really believe it too. This isn't just done for some cynical reason. No, they are actually into it. All right. What do we got here? Declaration of memes. Let me see if I added any more before the stream that I forgot. No. Girls at sleepovers. Let's summon a demon. Oh my God, this is going to be so fun. Boys at sleepovers. Who keeps summoning them? Now, I think this is actually there's something metaphorical coming from this, right? I think we're seeing something metaphorical here, which is women, through their voting patterns and their politics, have summoned civilizational demons that now men are going to have to deal with, right? When I see this, it makes me think of that, 14-year-old girl with the axe and the knife in Scotland, right? Yes, because they are summoning demons, right? I'm not talking about all women, but women do tend. Women are more likely to vote for leftist policies, socialism. Of course, that's not all, but more vote for it than against that sort of thing, or for traditional, just kind of sane policy, right? Like rule of law, that sort of thing. So what they're doing is essentially summoning demons for the Western world that men will have to deal with eventually. There'll be men who have to deal with it. And I think that that's why I wanted to show this to you guys, because I think there's something deeper happening in this meme. Let's see. Sometimes you look at people and wonder, how do they fit all that stupid in one head? Well, you do wonder that. That makes me think of this.
How can you talk if you haven't got a brain?
I don't know. But some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
All right, let's get back to the chat for a second. Maybe I could do another ad read while I'm at it before I forget. Let's see. Will they let me do one right now? Oh, no, I still got to wait another 2.5 minutes. All right. I think I'll do a Rumble ad next for 1775 coffee. That'll be exciting. We can get some commie hate in there. All right. Let me scooch back a little bit. Let's see. Rosie asks, are they safe in Greenland? They live very close to those necrotic Christmas birds. Well, their special Christmas dinner is dead bird wrapped in seal skin, and then buried in the ground until fermented. And it takes several months for this to happen. I guess they start a few months before Christmas. That's just disgusting. Sorry, Greenland. That's just gross. I mean, Trump should invade Greenland just to stop that. That's a crime against humanity. What a disgusting Christmas dinner. Can you imagine just you go there, somebody invites you to Greenland, you'll stay with the family, you stay with them, and that's what they give you? Decomposed bird wrapped in sealskin, buried for 3 months? Come on. No, thank you. Let's see. JJ Nevada says, he's a Trumper. Well, it's still in my mind. That I know who you're talking about. When I was on a road trip earlier in the summer, I went to a garage sale, this little town on the island. And the guy was an idiot, right? The guy was just a complete idiot. I picked up some cup and said, how much is this? And he's like, oh, well, that's, you're not going to like it. You're not going to like it. I'm like, just tell me how much it is. When $4, $3 or something. You're not going to like it. I'm like, well, how much? Oh, that's couldn't let it go for less than 200. Yeah, it was it was like Edward VIII's Father's Day cup. It's like, you're just making that up. That's not real. It's all made up. But anyway, I guess he had some trading cards, and somebody was asking about a Wayne Gretzky card. He started going on this diatribe. He started calling Wayne Gretzky Wayne Greasy. He started going, oh, Wayne Greasy. He's a Trumper. He's a Trumper. He's a Trumper. And it just about broke my brain. And I went, holy shit, that's who Elbows Up was designed for. This imbecile. This utter and total imbecile. That's who Elbows Up was designed for. Mad at Wayne Gretzky because he's friends with Trump, because he's been friends with Trump for decades. Like, he's a Trumper. He's a Trumper. Wayne Greasy. Elbows Up was designed for you, my friend. And no, they didn't overestimate your intelligence. He's a Trumper. That's too much of Canada. A country like that cannot survive. I'm sorry. Too many people are that. The country cannot survive. Nevada says media is evil. Yeah. I'm not going to argue with you. Nevada says, like Wayne Gracie, he's a Trumper. He's a Trumper. Just everything wrong with the country. Nevada says, I want Greenland so bad I can smell the ice. Can you smell the freezing to death, though? Let's see. Oh, God, I'm not reading that. Not reading that, people. Let's see. Cross says, so vote Trump in 3.5 years. We will load him to you. Can you imagine how quickly he could fix Canada? Like in 3 months, he'd have the country halfway fixed. Let's see. Chef Rico says, Canada used to be chill. The cities were super clean and the people were super nice. What the fuck happened? Leftism happened. Radical progressivism happened. That's what happened. Propaganda, indoctrination. Far too many people going to university and taking critical this and critical that studies. Like the humanities now, like that's just an indoctrination factory at this point. Whatever psychology, whatever communications, it doesn't matter. That's what happened. People who never should have gone in the first place, right? Who wouldn't have qualified for it in the past. Just going in as smooth-brained people, super susceptible to propaganda, to being propagandized and to being infected with the woke mind virus, went and were infected. And they learned nothing and they got useless degrees and massive debt. And that serves leftism, radical progressive leftism, very well. Let's see. All right. I'm going to skip to the end of the chat here. Let's see. Danny, how you doing? Good to see you over on YouTube. All right. Send the liberals to Ukraine to fight the Russians. Yeah, I'm at that point now. Everybody, I don't know, Andrew Coyne, all the rest of them, these bloodthirsty, fight to the last Ukrainian people. They can all go. Why don't they just go? Well, let's just send them there. If they're that into it, we'll send them. Macross says, let's see who I can piss off. Taylor Swift is getting married. Oh my God. We've got something on that coming up. We actually do. Let's see. Rosie says, you're breaking up. I cannot hear you. You must be going through a tunnel. I am going. Yeah, I'm going through a tunnel right now. My entire house is. Let's see. Of course, that's what's happening. Let's see. But it's not good if I'm breaking up, though. So are you going through a tunnel? Is that what's going on here? Let's see. Oh, you're saying that to Macross. Okay. Well, I don't know what's going on anymore. Denny says, I wish Trump would just take Canada. We might just become a failed state under the liberals, right? Another one, maybe max 2 terms. We probably just become a failed state, and then they just have to, just to be nice. Chef Rico says, no, this is a really great point, actually. We really do have the most educated group of baristas in history. And that is the problem. Because they've gone in and been very intentionally indoctrinated. Let's see. Rosie says, no, I am pretending I cannot hear about Taylor Swift. Well, we do have a little something coming up. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Rosie. I'm pretending I cannot hear about Taylor Swift. One more applause. All right, there we go. Let's do this. Let's go. All right. Let's see what's going on. I already did that. Okay, we did the memes. We did that. So yeah, we're on the last. Here we go. All right. So we're on the last part now. So I don't think we got that much left. Hour 54. We're in. So Super Based in Cali posted this. Even California liberals are waking up and realizing Gavin Newsom is garbage. Ex-anti-Trumper. I think this is a little bit old. I think this is before Trump won. I wonder if anybody says anything under here. But let's take a look. By the way, the Republicans are not going to win at California anytime soon. I think you have to wonder at this point, those deep blue states. And in fact, I would say, city elections as well, including in Canada, they're so tied up. They're so dominated by really radical leftists that you have, these are the by any means necessary people. They have no principles, right? They don't believe in the countries and the civilizations that they live in the first place. They think that it's invalid. The whole things are, an invalid project, right? So you have to wonder about like the integrity of those elections in the first place. In California, I mean, Gavin Newsom didn't pass a law to make it illegal to ask for voter identification because he wanted secure elections, did he?
I can't understand how anyone would vote for Gavin Newsom. He's like clearly a sociopath and I was thinking about this today. Imagine rising to the position of governor of California, the 6th largest economy in the world, one of the most beautiful places in the world, and having your legacy be that you created a crime-ridden, bankrupt shithole. This place had a surplus 2 years ago. So that would disqualify, like Gavin Newsom would not be employable in the private sector with that kind of performance. But these people continue to vote for this stuff. And I've thought about leaving multiple times, but I love it here. I don't want to. So I hope that this disaster might change things and wake people up. In 2016, I was like an anti-Trump person and was very upset when he was elected. And then I've changed tune very quickly after seeing him being smeared unfairly, seeing media coverage that's taken out of context, edited. The same standard doesn't apply to any Democrat politician like Gavin Newsom, who had an affair with his best friend's wife, who was his campaign manager. I don't know what else somebody could do in terms of character, and all of Biden's stuff. It's like the worst president in the history of this country and the most corrupt. It's like a criminal.
You know, as I say, you have to wonder at some point with the levels of corruption. I mean, Gavin Newsom didn't make it illegal to ask for voter ID to, you know, the reason that Gavin Newsom made it illegal to ask for a voter ID in any election in California was not to make the elections more secure. It was not for election integrity. It was for another reason, and the only possible reason it could be for. So at some point you have to wonder, is it even up to the people? At what point is, you know, wherever you live, just Venezuela? And it really doesn't matter. And it's not who votes, it's who counts the votes. But I would really, I wonder if there's going to be some investigation into the elections in some of these very blue places. Some of these just kind of, you just think almost impossibly blue, right? They just win by so much. You go, how can that even be possible? Especially when you see the circumstances that people are living in with crime and, you know, poor education and taxes. I don't know. Be interesting to see if something.
I can't understand.
I can't imagine that if there was a real investigation into California elections, you wouldn't find things that are absolutely shocking. I think it's almost be guaranteed, wouldn't it? Give this guy amnesty. 3 Yardman moves that you could use in the dance floor. Okay, so this is, I guess we're officially in palate cleanser mode for this stream. Let's take a look.
Today I'm going to show you 3 moves. Then when you get up on the dance floor to dance some old school hip hop, you'll be able to get down just like Lencho Brown. First move we're going to do is starting your lawnmower move. This one you just got to go. You got to pull it, pull it. You got to pull it, pull it. You got to pull it. Second move we're going to do is the cheers. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. The final move is Lencho Brown sprinklers. You gotta make sure you hit it to the right, boom, and then do a little bit of a deep, baby, deep to the left. Everybody likes kung fu fighting. Para, 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 pa. So let's put it all together now, just like a Mexican combination plate, and see how it turns out.
You know what? I can't play that music, so we'll just do this. There we go. Probably going to get a copyright just from that, like 4 seconds or whatever. But there we go. There we go. You guys sent it in, I play it. You guys send it in, I play it. Unless I don't want to. But there you go. Done. Done. I fulfilled my responsibility. This guy is pretty funny. All right. In fact, a legend, as we're told here by Doge News. Let's take a look.
I have gender skin color dysphoria.
Yep.
I am a white lesbian trapped in a black man's body. I'm 6 months pregnant and I love my husband, but the LGBTQ community won't accept me. And they tell me you could be what you want to be. And also, since I'm a white lesbian, I'm also a white supremacist and I hate black people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the funny thing is that let me remind you that the LA Times ran a headline during the recount, California recount, when Larry Elder was running to overturn Gavin Newsom. The LA Times ran a headline saying that Larry Elder, who is black, was the black face of white supremacy because he's a conservative, right? The black face of white supremacy. That's how shameless they are. So they actually would call him, he's joking about being a white supremacist, but they actually would call him that. The left, I think just your run-of-the-mill progressive would call him a white supremacist. I mean, it took him a little while to really get up the nerve to start saying things so absurd. But But once they kind of, broke the ice on it, yeah, just any black people are definitely white supremacists if they don't agree with, progressive white people. What else could they be? Let's see. Anyway, that's pretty funny. Let's keep going. This guy effing nails it. This guy never misses. All right, let's take a peek. You guys send him in, I play him. Let's take a look.
Call me old-fashioned, but I'm glad my mother was a woman. So I can't have an opinion on abortion because I don't have a uterus. But I can be a woman without one? Got it. Every time I order a cheeseburger, I make it a double so that a vegan out there in the world isn't actually making a difference. Why is it that if the government finds diamonds or oil in your backyard, it's government property? But if they find drugs, it's yours? Messed up. Just wanted to wish the LGBTQ plus community a happy Pride Month. Enjoy, but don't forget to thank a straight person for your existence. Just a quick reminder, Mother's Day is for moms, not for men in dresses. Your day is April 1st. The same people that are screaming at us to vote for Kamala because she's a woman can't define what a woman is.
All right. Hold on a second. What's going on here? There we go. Let's see. I accidentally pinned a chat there, but then I read it and went, yeah, okay, that's a good one. That was a good one to actually pin. Maybe I'll find somebody else's here. I always forget to do that. I haven't done that in so long. Hold on. How about this one? Let's do this one. There we go. Oh, that's so easy. It's so easy to do that. Why am I not doing this for you guys? Let's see. That's actually quite thoughtless of me. JDL says, how you doing, JDL? Californians are Presletized. Yep. Let's see. Izzy says California was lost before Canada. Yeah, it was actually. Canada was, it was a sensible country for a long time. And it was behind a little bit, although it was the same things happening, but they didn't. Canadians were sensible for longer. It was harder for it to really break through into the mainstream, but once it did, now it appears we're even more susceptible to it, which is sad. Rosie says, I've been to Southern California twice, just beautiful, consistently beautiful, horrible that politicians can destroy so much so quickly. Yeah, the last time I was in LA is probably, 8-9 years ago, and it was already turning into a shithole then. Trudeau Survivor says, Taylor Swift is 35.5 years old. She might have difficulty getting Prego. Well, she got lots of money, though, right? Well, she probably doesn't want to anyway. Nevada says, I think Newsom is termed out. That's why he wants to run for something else. I didn't know they had term limits for governors. Okay, that's interesting. I guess I should have known that. All right. Let me get to the end of these here. Spambot says, no, this is a situation I think we've all been in. I was too busy to eat today. Now it's too hot to cook. Yes. Let's put that one up for a second. I think we've all been there. So I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do. Do you have ice cream? Just eat ice cream for dinner. Let's see. All right. There we go. Let's move on. What do we got? What is this? So it's just like some white guy trying to, it looks like a teenager trying to put trash in there. And then there's these black ladies just throwing it back at, why? This doesn't make any sense to me. And I just saw this. It doesn't make any damn sense. Like, why? I don't know. I feel like it's symbolic of something. But anyway, let's move on. Here, CBS reporter, Taylor Swift is engaged. So she freaked out. Do people actually care about Taylor Swift? Like, I don't understand this at all. This made no sense to me. This is just not a world I live in.
Taylor Swift is engaged. Taylor Swift is engaged. Taylor Swift is engaged. This, come back to me. She just posted it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, it's huge. The ring is ginormous. This is so exciting. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's on her Instagram. It's on her Instagram. It's on her Instagram. Oh my God. 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 I feel like Paul Revere right now. Like this is a very exciting moment for me in my professional career because I get to announce that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged. As you're talking to Joe Lang, our lovely producer Gabby Ake texted me and said, Taylor Swift's engaged, and you can see it right there on her social media. She put it up in that post that they got engaged with the caption, your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married, with a little dynamite sign there. So very exciting here that we get to break that and tell you.
So I can officially announce that after watching that, I am now officially dead inside. I feel nothing. I feel nothing. I am just a void now, a dark void, a dark, pessimistic void. Not even pessimism, just totally indifferent, just dead inside. Nothing can ever mean anything to me ever again after witnessing that. That finally did it. That killed the last bit of humanity in me. That's it. It's gone now. It's gone. Now I'm just an empty vessel at this point. She did that to me. She did that to me, telling me about getting excited about Taylor Swift's engagement. Rhonda says I really couldn't care. Yeah. Turtle says, oh yeah, Taylor Swift is getting married. Could you image the prenuptial? I wonder about that. I do wonder about that. Let's see. Speaking of engaged, where's G Flood these days? Rose says, I don't know. Maybe we lost him. Let's see. Macross says, I don't hate nor really care about Swift. Yeah, that's where we all are. It's where we all are. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on. It's time. What else we got? All right. We already did all that stuff earlier. All right. This is funny. Okay. This is good. This is what we call a real palate cleanser. Okay. Okay. Let's go. Where's the dog?
Thomas, what are you doing? Thomas.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, I'm restored. My soul is restored again. I'm no longer empty inside. JDL says prenups can be broken. Well, that's the thing. Apparently, they're just worthless now, right? Let's see. Plunder World, how you doing? Good to see you. All right. Let's see. Macross says, used to say her managers pushed her to date to fail, so she'd be good for another 5 songs. Well, none of them actually, they all co-write their songs now. There's like 5 guys who write like every song, and they have co-writing credits with the artists. And apparently it's the same group. It's like half a dozen guys who just write everything, and then whoever the artist is that's performing it, they just slap their name on it as a co-writer. Maybe they say, oh, change this line or a bit or something, but it's part of the deal. They can be the songwriters, but they have to give co-writing credits. And I imagine that's probably something like what's going on with what's her name? Let's see. All right. Let's keep going. Anyway, that dog is hilarious. This is just nice, right? This just makes you feel good. The hotel we were staying at had the cutest stick library. Every morning, my dog would carefully pick one out to take to the beach. This is a palate cleanser. This is just lovely. Well, I can't play the music. But look at that dog stick library. And he goes and picks out a stick, the dog, that takes it to the beach with him. I don't know. What's better than that? That's just nice. That's so much better than politics, right? 100%. Send this to someone who needs a mood boost. Again, what's this? Well, can't play the music. Look at that. So that's like a rabbit. And he's happy. This is basically heaven for that rabbit. So he's just like in a hole in the ground and there's a bunch of grapes there. So I don't know. Seems pretty good. I hope he's not like one of those Watership Down rabbits, because that seemed pretty depressing, pretty terrifying. All right. Maybe we'll save that one. Let's see. Massive dust storm engulfs southwest Phoenix, Arizona, a scene straight out of The Mummy. Well, it's like a scene straight out of the Dust Bowl in the 30s, right? Grapes of Wrath, the Okies, all of that.
100 feet high of dust moving here into Florence. You can see it just really stretching high up into the atmosphere. It's about to overtake those neighborhoods right there. You just see it approaching very, very quickly here. Huge amounts of dust. This is definitely one of the best kaboobs I've seen in quite a while here in Arizona, in Pinal County.
That is pretty ominous, though, isn't it? That is pretty ominous. It makes me think of like Mars or something. Let's see. Girls, instead of admitting they're wrong. Okay, so this is what girls do instead of admitting that they're wrong.
There's nothing wrong with me. Maybe there's something wrong with the universe.
That's it. It was the universe all along. All along. Plunderworld, come on. Come on. Grow up, Plunderworld. I'm not even going to read that. You expect me to read Lizzo just farted? Oh, dear. Let's see. McCross says Lizzo tripped in Kuwait. Oh, you guys. What did Spambot said? Spambot said, my food eats grapes. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. So you guys are talking about prenups. Nevada's saying worthless like the justice system. As he says, yeah, marriage is meaningless as well. It really is at this point. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything now. It doesn't matter to anybody. Let's see. All right. Let's keep going. We're almost at the end. And oh, hold on. Let's go back here. All the way down. Where were we? There's the bunny. There's that. There's that. We're not dealing with that one. This one I do want to get to here. Kamala's post about her book tour is hilarious and the reactions are great. I do want to get to it. We just don't have time tonight. So I'll have to look at this one next time. Unfortunately, we'll get to that. All right. Well, it's kind of a short one tonight, but Princess Baloney is getting back tonight, so I should keep it short and end this before she gets back. So, yeah, we're going to keep it short. 2 hours and 16 minutes. That is a short one for us, isn't it? That is a short one for us. Let's see. All right, well, I guess that's it. I guess that's just it. JDL makes a great point here. Hit that like. You know, I haven't tried to convince everybody to like the stream or subscribe to the channel. So like the stream, subscribe to the channel, become a channel member. The best thing you can do for the channel is to become a channel member or to gift a channel membership like Rosie did tonight and like Spambot has done. I think something like 90 times so far is the best thing to do, and it makes me the happiest of all the things that can be done. And also Rumble rants or PayPals that's sending me money and appealing to my greed. These are also excellent things that you can do, but subscribe to the channel as well and like the stream and get that free good karma. Don't let anything bad happen to you. Get that good karma now. Subscribe so the choice is yours, so that you take the power away from the gatekeepers. So if you're subscribed to the channel, you go on, you see my videos, you choose whether to watch them or not. You don't have to rely on the gatekeepers to say, oh, well, maybe we'll let them know that Radio Baloney's live or put out a video or something. Because guess what? The fact that you found my channel in the first place is a miracle, because my channel is actively hidden. So take the choice away from the gatekeepers. Take the choice away from the commies. Take the choice away from the totalitarians. Take the power back for yourself and subscribe now, and then you can decide. And also like the stream as well and give me money and stuff. So there's all of that important stuff. Let's see. Wait, no ad. Oh, maybe I'll do one more ad. Okay, hold on. I forgot. I know what you guys want, though. I know what you guys want. You guys want a 1775 coffee ad, don't you? Oh, yeah. I know it. Get ready, people. Still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units. Only 1,000 units. That's exclusive, people. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for clean energy and laser focus. No crash, no communism. All single origin, small batch, toxin free, and mold free. Thank God they keep the mold out of it. I hate that. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip, because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. What the hell's wrong with you? Didn't you know that? A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. Hope she's not some kind of old, dirty, filthy commie. And a black 1775 tumbler. $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for only $99. That's less than $100, people, and it is exclusive. Do not forget that. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up, literally blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Well, guess what, people? Spoiler alert, it is. It sure is. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio. That's 1775coffee.com/studio, and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Don't wait, people. Don't wait before they're gone, because don't forget, bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something. We're talking free speech here, folks, just like Rumble does. Passion, anti-communism, coffee. What more do people want? Let's see. All right, hold on. Right, we're going to get back here for a second. Izzy says, I feel the energy flowing. 1775 rock. Should we do one more? It's Tuesday. We actually haven't, we actually missed, I think, last Tuesday's They Them Energy. So should we do it one more time? Do you guys need a little bit of energy? A little bit of a pickup right at the end of the stream here? A little bit? Should we just do it? Let's just do it.
They them energy. They them energy. They them energy. They them energy.
Oh, the poster woman for They Them Energy. What is it? What is the They Them Energy? What is it exactly? Precisely what is it? Who has it? The They Thems have it. How do you know? How is it expressed? What is it exactly? I don't know. Is it supernatural? Is it some sort of magic spell? I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is that I've never felt better in my life. Never felt better in my life. I'm so happy I could literally cut my dick off. Nope, just kidding. Just lost all that they, them energy immediately. Yikes. But anyway, yeah, don't do that, by the way. Don't do that. Don't be tricked by the they, them energy. You'll regret it. I'm telling you, you'll regret it. Chef Rico says 1775 rocks. The bold dark roast that hits hard. It certainly does, my friend. Let's put that up. What a beautiful comment in the chat. Let's see. Izzy says, I feel the energy flowing. Rosie says, coffee, no mold, no commies. A gold spoon clip, bold, growly, energetic. 1776 out of, where is it? There we go. 1776 out of 10. And as we all know, that's almost the most out of 10 that you can get. So it's pretty good. Izzy says 1776 out of 10. As always, best coffee ad with a touch of commie hate. That's why I'm here, people. That's why I'm here. Let's see. Chef Rigo says, a frother? That sounds gray. Gray, he says. Well, I don't know. Chef Rigo says, good coffee. All right, what gets next? Starter kits rock, Chef Rigo says, 100%. Oh, don't forget the chocolate. All right, hold on. Here we go. Look at that. Darth Vader chocolate head. So chocolate brains in it. Wow. Delicious. Let's see. Everybody subscribe to the channel. Become a channel member. Like the stream. Give me money. All that stuff. Let's see. All right. Noun, verb, energy. Noun, verb, energy. All right. JDL says, good luck, Canada. Good luck. We're going to need it. We are going to need the energy. 100%. All right. Well, I guess that's it, folks. Now we stretched it out to 2 hours and 23 minutes. So I would like to thank everybody for hanging out. You guys were in good form tonight, I will say. And if you guys weren't here, it would have been depressing. Very depressing for me, ranting to a cold, indifferent universe. Very depressing. But because you guys are here, it's not that. At least not yet. So thanks for showing up, guys. It's Tuesday, which means I get 2 nights off. So we will be back on Friday night, 7:30 Pacific time, 10:30 Eastern time, which is it's probably not a great time to start, really, but whatever. We've been doing it forever. 7:30 Pacific time, 10:30 Eastern time. I hope to see everybody back then. Thank you so much, you guys. Thanks for the people who donated memberships and gave me money and appealed to my greed. I appreciate that, you guys. We'll see everybody on Friday night. Have a great week, you guys.